Hi, this is Susan Campfield with SueStampfield.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I've got a fun Easter project to share with you. This is a little bunny hutch that we're going to make for a lint gold bunny. So let me show you how we're going to get started here. The cardstock color that we're using is the baked brown sugar, which is one of my new favorites right now. And we're going to use a framelit. The set of framelits we're using are the window frame framelits, and that's what we're going to use to cut out our hutch and also the window for the hutch so that you can see the bunny. So the ones that I used are for the bunny hutch front and back. Whoops, not the largest one, but the second largest one. So you can see how that matches up. And then I cut the window out with the second smallest one. So that was what cut our window. So I've got my cardstock here. So I started by cutting two of these with that second largest window frame framelit, just like so. And then I did score it across the bottom. And it's not really a measurement as much as it is just going from where the square points end here and going straight across. So it's just that sort of half moon shape that is going to be going under our bunny hutch. So I'll turn it upside down here so you can see how those are folded under the little box that the bunny is sitting in. So you're going to want to get two of these, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp them. And I'm stamping them with the hardwood background stamp, one of my favorite stamps from the Occasions catalog, and I do love doing it on the baked brown sugar. So you want to do both of them. Make sure when you stamp them that your grain is going the same way so that you don't inadvertently stamp one this way and the other one that way. So you want them to go in the same way. And I've got my scores at the bottom. I chose to have the boards going up and down, but they could certainly be going side to side. That would be just fine. So on one of these, we're actually going to stamp the back side as well. So one you just stamp on one side, the other you're going to stamp on both sides. The one that we stamp, so the one that we do both sides, that's going to be the back of our box. The one that we just do the one side on, we're going to go back to the big shot and we're going to take this smaller window, the second smallest window frame framelit, and we're going to cut out that window. Now we're going to save this piece because this piece is going to be used on the back of our project with the little Happy Easter saying from the Extra Spectacular stamp set. Love that stamp set. So we've got our pieces here. We're ready to do some bunny hutch construction. So we're going to use our good friend sticky strip, but we also need to work on our box. So let's go to that. By the way, I started with squares of cardstock that were 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 of the baked brown sugar to make the sides and back of the hutch. So the box, we're starting with a piece of cardstock that is 5 inches by 3 inches, and then I scored it at 1/2 inch, 2 1/4 inch, 2 3/4 inch, and again at 4 1/2. And then I rotated it. And on the short side, I scored it at 1/2 inch and then 2 1/2 inches. I then cut out the corners, all 4 corners, and these 2 little pieces. And before I put it together, you can see I've already put some sticky strip on it because I wanted to show you where that goes. But before I do that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to mark where I want to do that punch, and I want to do that punch before I assemble my box. So I'm just going to take a ruler here, and I'm just going to take a pencil and find the center of my inside of my box. And now that where that X meets, that's my center. So I'm going to go in with the large oval punch, and I'm just going to slide it in there, and it just fits perfectly. I don't need to fold anything back or worry about double layers. And you can see I've got it lined up so that X is right in the center. So I'm going to punch that out, and that's going to be where our little bunny is going to sit. So to put your box together, you want to put 1, 2, 3 pieces of sticky strip on these sides, and that's the top of the box. So you're going to fold in these sides, peel off that sticky strip red line, and tape that down. That's going to form the box, just like so, and that's where your bunny's going to sit. And then you want a piece of sticky strip on the front and the back to attach the front and back of the hutch. And then I also used a little piece of sticky strip on the two flaps to stick those to the box base. And then I did not put any adhesive personally on the top. You certainly could put a couple of glue dots in there, or even a piece of sticky strip to hold that. I am just letting my stretchy stretch trim, ruffle stretch trim, then the baked brown sugar hold my whole project together. But it is pretty movable, so if you want it to be a little firmer, you'd want to put a little bit of adhesive in there. Let's talk really quickly about the grass and how I did that. I'm using a piece of pear pizzazz, and the pear pizzazz is 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/8 inch. And to make the grass, first I punched this piece with the scallop border punch. So I just slid it in, partially punched it, and then lined it up again on the other side with the scallops that I'd already punched, so that I know where the proper place was to punch the rest of them. And then once you have that, the reason I did that is grass isn't even, so I wanted that scallop. And now you can go in with the fringe scissors. And with the fringe scissors, it's best not to just cut with the tip, but to go in about halfway and cut on the bigger part. You just don't want to get carried away. You want to make sure that you're only cutting partially down. I don't want to cut this grass off. I want it to be on a strip. So I do have to remember to stop. It'd be really easy to keep going because they're nice and sharp, but I just want that top portion. Okay, so I've got my grass ready to go there. And then I'm just going to add some flowers because somewhere it's spring. It's not really spring here yet in Minnesota, but hopefully soon. So I have some flowers that I punched out in strawberry slush with the itty bitty punch pack. And I'm going to just put 3 of those across. I'm attaching them with glue dots. I attach my grass with glue dots, and I put a small pearl in the center of each flower. On the back side, on a dimensional, I mounted that leftover piece that we had from punching out our window with the die. So I mounted that on the back, and then again with the dimensional, I popped up it's the extra large oval punch with the Happy Easter saying cut out from Extra Spectacular stamp set. And then I added the large size pearl for the tail on the bunny. So that is how you can make a little bunny hutch for your gold bunny. These are the miniature gold bunnies. They come in a package of 5, so it's a really fun way to package them up for Easter. Thank you so much for stopping by today.